coming to you from in front of the Central Synagogue in Bondi, where a group of rabbis, the executives of Rabbinical Association of Australasia, the Rabbinical Council of Victoria, and Rabbinical Council of New South Wales, met today with the Prime Minister in order to voice our concerns. It was a working meeting to discuss our concerns about anti-Semitism, the response to it in the community, Australia's relationship with Israel, and so on. I'd like to just share some of the thoughts that I told the Prime Minister. First of all, I quoted the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who said that when someone is the head of a country, that means he's been given divine powers and divine ability to really deal with the issues that that country faces in the fullest of measure. And if one believes in that, one is endowed with that ability to be able to make a huge difference for the issues facing us. And at present, the issue facing us, facing the country in a huge way, is that of anti-Semitism, our campuses and our communities and so on. We requested that we have a united voice of both sides of politics, as well as the local, premiers of every state, all coming out with a statement against anti-Semitism, together in a united way. We also asked for a working group that can talk about some rabbis, as well as a liaison to the Prime Minister, where we could speak about the issues facing Israel, facing the Jewish community, and where we would like to bring up perspectives to share with regards to what is taking place in Israel as well, which of course is the reason for all this anti-Semitism that's taking place now after October 7th. Anti-Semitism has skyrocketed here. And I emphasize the fact that it's very important that when speaking about anti-Semitism, you speak about anti-Semitism. In other words, when the Black Lives Matter issue was at the forefront, if anyone went and said, well, all lives matter, basically that was seen as a diminishment of the issue that was front and center at the time. We're talking about Black Lives Matter. If you say all lives matter, you're just trying to minimize Black Lives Matter. And in the same way, when you say against anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and any other issue, then you're minimizing it. Because this is right now the major issue facing our community, and the way to deal with it is to talk about it as an issue in and of itself, not lumping it in with other things, which then kind of lessens the power of the message. I also spoke about the fact that we cannot ignore the situation with Israel, and that there's going to be a vote in the United Nations again about a Palestinian state. And at this time, for Australia to vote for a Palestinian state, gives Hamas and strengthens terrorism, because as a result of the terrorism, they're getting a vote for a Palestinian state. That should not be the result of October 7th, number one. Number two, a Palestinian state will be a platform for where they could then come and attack Jews again, to have another October 7th. The Prime Minister did share with us that he is speaks out against anti-Semitism all the time. He's not accepting of it. He's had many challenges because of it. There are encampments outside of his office in Sydney. He once had to go through the kitchen to get out of a restaurant because of the protesters, pro-Hamas protesters. He's not welcome in mosques as he was today, welcomed in a synagogue. He did tell us that. He pushed back, I guess, on, he says he supports the right of Israel to defend itself, but he says too many minutes. He did say to us, says, if I'm going to say it elsewhere, I'll say it to you as well, that I think too many civilian lives have been killed in this war, To which I respond now, because I didn't say it then, you have to, you can always shine a light on a particular case and show how terrible a situation is. And it's true, every civilian life lost is a terrible tragedy. The only thing is that you have to compare and contrast. When, after 2014 or after 9/11, America went up against in Mosul or in Afghanistan and Iraq, far more civilian lives were lost. But in order to achieve what they needed to achieve, they weren't targeting civilians, they were going after the terrorists. Well, Israel is doing it far greater and far better than anyone else ever did, than Australia ever did, than America ever did. There's far less civilians' life lost from Israel's attack against, or trying to safeguard itself by getting rid of Hamas, than anyone else. So unfortunately, didn't have the opportunity to voice that to the Prime Minister, but I did voice it to some of the people around him. We hope and pray that he will take on board some of the suggestions we made. Rav Shua Solomon, from the President of the Rabbinical Council in New South Wales, also pointed out how wrong it was for the Foreign Minister to go to Israel and not to visit the communities in the South. That was a terrible missed opportunity. Indeed, it was. He didn't respond to that particular issue. And what can we do? We hope and pray that the discussion we had today will bear fruit in Australia's support for the Jewish people, who everyone voiced the concern that the community feels at this present time, as well as its support for Israel, unequivocal support for Israel. That's what we hope will come about through it. We hope to be able to continue having these discussions, and wish you Shabbat Shalom.